Hello, everyone, and welcome to AC Spotlight. Today I'm joined by Heather, founder and lead GM for Worlds for All. Welcome!
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. Quick question before we actually dive deep into your own history in the TTRPG industry. What is better for a story? A natural 1 or a natural 20?
Oh, I'm upset you're making me choose. You know, I don't have a fear of either, but probably better for the story is a natural 1. Oh God, natural 20s are incredible. But I also feel like there is something about really leaning into what if things don't go as you're expected. I mean, that's what we come to stories for, right? It's for the unexpected, for the opportunity to explore what happens when things don't go the way we think they will. So, and it's never, never just like oops, you failed and it's over. And this is also a trick question because right now I'm running a mini campaign of Perils and Princesses. So a natural 1 is a crit.
Oh, hey, all right, yeah, system dependent on this whole question. I
Yes,
like that.
yes.
I love it. I've been told a few people have sort of described it in different ways, and I love the saying, meshing both ideas, which is a natural 20 is progression. You really want a natural 20 if you want to progress the story, like through a straight line. You can still progress the story even with failure, but a natural 1 is innovation. It is you failed. Now I agree. I 100% agree with you. I'm so happy you have that mindset of like a failure isn't necessarily a stop. It just means maybe a complication.
Yeah.
The fact that a natural 1 can build into something a little bit more intriguing where you as a GM have to be a little bit more innovative is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna throw a bit of an icebreaker question at you just because I love people's answers on this. What is your tabletop snack of choice?
Oh, I am a huge snacker. I mean, I'm also just a huge, I don't know if the word would be mealer, but I'm often just like literally eating dinner during my games. I run games more nights of the week than not, so I'm often eating. But I have a huge sweet tooth, so I love even just having like a bar of dark chocolate that I can just break off little pieces of and just slowly accidentally eat the whole thing throughout a session.
Oh, I love that. When I did the introduction for you, I mentioned that obviously you were the lead GM, but I think that's both true and maybe reductive because you are in my eyes, a professional game master, sharing your storytelling skills amongst both the digital audience as well as live action places. All of that underneath the Worlds for All sort of title and name. Do you mind telling people what Worlds for All is for those who don't know what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Worlds for All came into existence in April of 2024. So we're heading into year 3. And at its heart, it is a creative event service. I'm based in Massachusetts, and the majority of what I run is in person. I run an average of 10 sessions a month in person, all different TTRPGs. And in the last year, have also been branching out to running more virtual games, running social events, because all us nerds need a great excuse to get together and talk to each other and maybe learn our real names and not just our character names. We have a really beautiful community we've built, and it's such a pleasure to get to run offline. But I know I'm a bit of an anomaly in the professional GM sphere because a lot of my work is not, in actual play. It's more live in person. So.
Incredible. There's this extra layer because first I would love to know just sort of like the bare basics of where you got into the system. Were you introduced to TTRPGs as a player, or did you just sort of jump behind the GM screen?
Yeah, no, I was a player first, and I love GMing. Storytelling is definitely in my heart and soul, but I also really do love playing still sometimes, so I try not to be the forever GM. But no, I was part of the Stranger Things craze. I had a student teacher back in 2015 who taught me, I used to be a high school teacher, who taught me about Stranger Things. And I first learned of D&D from them because they created an independent study project for a student who was really smart and really bored and kind of wreaking havoc. And so I said, hey, we're reading the Odyssey, come up with something fun for this kid to do to like test his mind and keep him busy. And she charged him to create a Odyssey inspired D&D campaign. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of this thing. And then my first table I played at was a group of teachers. Our school psychologist was our DM. Wow. And then I just kind of haven't stopped since. And during the pandemic, I was in a Discord community that, I was fortunate enough to see potential in me becoming a game master and got some really wonderful mentorship. And here we are. So,
It's incredible. It's literally a story of you kind of rising from the ranks just from like a brief interest, and then immediately it's the power of getting hooked by creative storytelling. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. And I grew up, I'm a theater kid at heart. I grew up dancing, creative writing. I was an English teacher. So role-playing games are the perfect mesh of all the things I love.
So you were doing sort of this mentorship or getting kind of advice or gaining your experience through the server. As you were doing so, what was sort of the ignition? What was the spark that led to Worlds for All?
I'm very grateful for being part of that community. But I think I got to a point where I realized that the type of atmosphere that I wanted to play in and the stories I wanted to tell were maybe not the norm or the majority that I was finding in this world of role playing. And full credit to it was, I think 3 years ago now, PAX Unplugged. It was my first time going to PAX. They still had the BIPOC fellowship program, and folks like Lamia were being featured, and I went to several. It was the first time I realized that there were people who were BIPOC and queer folks doing incredible work in this industry, and B, that there were games other than D&D.
Yeah.
And it was my first time I got to play. I've got my shirt repping Coyote and Crow. I got to play that there and fell in love. Yes, which is how I found Arcane Circle, through that program.
Shout out to Kenna. Love her. She's a great person.
Absolutely. And just got to see these incredible creatives on stage talking about anti-racism in TTRPGs. And man, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I started just running in person. I ran a little bit on Start Playing, but couldn't quite find my stride there. It's really hard to find like your people, and then I was running a long-term home game with folks who were, all BIPOC, all majority queer. It was just a wonderful situation. And they were all like, Heather, you're really good at this. You should do this more. And so it was truly, again, I was a teacher for 13 years. I never thought I would pivot to be a small business owner, never mind a professional game master. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. I feel so held by the community. We've got over 200 folks who've come out to play with us at our pop-up games in just 2 years. And, that's not counting workshops or cons or anything like that. And we have a 40% return customer rate, which is the thing that I'm most proud of, because I guess we're doing something right.
Yeah. The numbers don't lie,
Yeah.
And you mentioned this, that's incredible. There's something you mentioned here that I would just want to touch on. And that is you were able to discover other systems as well as you started to sort of go along this sort of GM journey. You mentioned the Princess in Peril, I think you mentioned.
Yes, Perils and Princesses, Orion Lynch, one of my favorites.
There was one. It's funny. And full disclosure, I mean, you have been listing games on Arcane Circle, but there was another one that was like
Yeah.
Root and Leaf, I think it was called.
Yes, Roots and Flowers by
Flowers.
Gabe. I'm blanking on their last name right now, but they're wonderful. They're Brazilian TTRPG writer. And yeah, I think last year for Worlds for All, I ran 32 different systems.
32.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really hard when people ask me my favorite system, because my favorite thing is to try new systems and tell new stories. The only one that scares me that I haven't tried to dive into, I'm also a little bit of a wimp when it comes to horror, to be totally honest, but is like Vampire the Masquerade just feels like it has such a barrier to entry in terms of lore. But
Oh, right. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, listen, D&D, it's the gateway drug, right? And there are often times where I do enjoy returning to it, but I have just found, especially, I have the pleasure of my day job is at Side Quest Books and Games in Somerville, Mass, which is a woman-owned, queer-owned book and game store. And we specialize in indie TTRPGs, so I get to just see so many different systems, and man, the potential for telling different stories is just out of this world. So, yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, I love the system agnostic direction towards you running games. I think it honestly, people become better GMs when they start to try out different systems. I can't tell you how many times I've integrated like Blades in the Dark into my D&D campaign, because there's mechanics that you can learn from other systems.
Yes, and I think I've found that my favorite systems are the ones that clearly are love letters to other systems. I mean, for better or worse, I've found myself very drawn to Daggerheart in the last year. And Daggerheart has almost a full like 2 pages dedicated to all the different systems and designers that they took inspiration from. It's like a bibliography in there. Or I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic? Which is a version of, or a hack of Microscope, and I'm about to run a 9-session mini campaign of Defy the Gods by Chris Sellers, which is PBTA, but is so much more than that. And they cite all their references. So I think it's so cool to see what people can mash together.
I'm curious, because you obviously are running multiple mini campaigns and one-shots and campaigns, and the fact that you have this sort of grand knowledge of all these different systems. Are you running? Do you custom make a lot of the stories? Like, are you homebrewing a lot of things?
Oh, I mean, so I do more homebrewing for the mini campaign. I've found my sweet spot. The thing I love the most is, I call it like a good season of TV. Like, I love that kind of 8 to 12 session arc. And those I love to create homebrews for. I also run a fair number of double shots that we have taken to calling them. So like a 2-session arc, which is essentially what most one shot.
A 2-parter. I like double shot's anyway, a great name, by the way. That's a good name.
Yeah, double shot and triple shot. That's what we call them. So, when it's the one shots, especially just the quick pop up games, I'll use more of a module. But even when it's a written module, I can't help but kind of pick it apart and make it my own. That's the creative writing background in there. But
so you're writing a lot. You're probably writing a lot of like follow-ups and recaps, and getting double shots going. That's a lot.
I've realized I should probably be memorializing these in like a more formal way, because I do have a lot, or I have a lot of I take a module and make it my own, or I'll take a setting.
Cool.
And make it my own. Like, I love, especially for D&D, if folks don't know, the Islands of Sinauna. It's an incredible source book that's pre-Indigenous Filipino mythology. And so, that was my first big mini campaign was based in that world, and so fun.
And shout out to Rumble Roll. They would have loved to hear that. It's an actual play channel with the Filipino sort of directed and sort of
awesome
group.
Yeah.
But back to you. So you've been running Worlds for All for about to hit 3 years. You are going to conventions. People can find you at conventions. I would really love to hear a shout out at the very end of this to see where people can find you and what you have planned. But you are roaming around your own kind of physical space. How many games do you generally run, like, physically? Like in a week, let's say.
In a week, I'm usually running on a good week. It's
On a good
3
week.
games. Sometimes it can be up to 4. If I'm not careful, I end up with 5, and sometimes that's not sustainable.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it's such a fine line. This, for me, just to be totally honest, for anybody else thinking of doing something like this, I've found this to be, in its current iteration of mostly like pop-up public games and conventions, this is a great, solid part-time job.
Right.
I think I would have to be a factory of games to make this full-time. But I do, we just turned 2 in April, so heading into our 3rd year, and really now that I've solidified that this is a thing that can be sustainable and that people are interested in, we're really looking at ways to grow and differentiate our offerings. I'm about to start putting out feelers for bringing on a team of Worlds for All GMs, which is
so
a blessing
cool.
and a little scary, but very exciting. Just finding more and more ways to serve our community, and maybe eventually having a brick and mortar space, but not quite yet. Yeah.
You mentioned that you also run workshops. Is there any particular subjects that you cover?
I've done some creative writing workshops since that's my background, but I just did a series that I called Community Conversations. We had over 40 folks come across 7 different conversations to do like a market research conversation, essentially, about where we should go next. And so we're looking to incorporate improv workshops, I've actually had a lot of ask for like, how do you take a module and adapt it for a different number of sessions, workshops? And I'm actually starting a project that isn't officially announced yet. So I don't know if I can do that here, but starting a project with someone else that will be announced very soon, where we're hoping to offer like 6 to 8 week kind of writing critique style GMing workshops, where it'll be like a small group of people and we kind of take you through what does it mean to be a game master beyond learning the mechanics of the system, and then giving people a chance to run for each other, kind of like a writing critique model. So yeah.
That's incredible. Absolutely. Yeah. The best way, if you want to keep it secret, the best way we could say then is keep an eye out for a big announcement. It's happening.
Yeah.
There you go.
I should have asked my partner in this if I could say something. They're wonderful, but I didn't. So
no, it's fine. When it comes to running these multiple games at your table, is there a rule at your table that's kind of universal? Is there something that's like written in stone, something that everyone should expect when they jump into your party?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I mean, when I distill down what Worlds for All is, the word that I distill all the way down to is not games, but community. So everything that we do at that table is in service of a communal experience and collaborative shared storytelling. So there is no, like, everything is meta, everything is above the table. and I think that is by design. It's about communication. It's not about taking any fun out of it. It's let's make sure that we're all actually having fun, and then we'll leave the unpredictability up to the dice and things like that. I lean really heavily into safety tools, which is another thing I love about Arcane Circle.
I love that.
Yeah, I've got a standard list, that I've adapted from the TTRPG safety checklist and hacks, the intersection tools that are basically like, please don't come to my table unless you're cool with never role playing, these things, which is a really great standard list and a great way to weed out folks for whom what I'm offering is not for them, because there's so many other gaming spaces.
Exactly.
Yes. So So yeah, I would say that's the room. And then also, I always call my table, I use the term like it's a fidget friendly table. Again, the whole point of Worlds for All is that we're really trying to make it so that everybody can be fully comfortable bringing their full selves to this creative space. You cannot imagine and play if you don't feel safe. And so, I always have a variety of fidgets out. We're always taking bio breaks.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I'm fidgeting with these. I'm fidgeting with dice as we talk because it's just, it's just a little bit.
Because after 13 years of teaching high schoolers, I'm like, nothing phases me. You can be doing cartwheels while we play, as long as I can tell you're enjoying yourself. Then that's what matters.
Oh, I love that. When people, I'll say this: when it comes to finding your table or at least your party, what day is there like a frequency, like a days that you usually run games, or you're usually open to run games?
Yeah, so right now on Mondays, I run pretty regularly, monthly or bi-monthly, like we'll do sometimes 2-month-long mini campaigns. I run a lot at SideQuest, as I mentioned, SideQuest Books and Games in Somerville, Mass. I also run in the Merrimack Valley area of Massachusetts, different places on different nights of the week. I try to run at least 1 to 2 virtual offerings, which are often listed on Arcade Circle now, and those really vary. I either tend to go for a weeknight or like a Sunday afternoon, and then I'm always available. I have a website and a link tree, and I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky, all of that. Everything's just at Worlds for All. I got lucky, number 4, and happy to run private events anytime for folks. And then we will be at 2 local conventions coming up. So there's SagaCon in Salem, Mass, and Ironweld in Wakefield, Mass. And then hopefully, this year and past years, I've been at the PAXs, PAX East and Unplugged. I'm crossing my fingers for a trip to Origins next year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Origins, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, they've heard great things. So.
Incredible. Well, I encourage everyone here who's listening, please go check out Worlds for All, and the fact that you're going to all these conventions. Go buy your ticket now. Go find an open seat and go look up Heather. Heather, is there any other directions you'd like to send people, like where they can go find you, where they can go follow?
Absolutely. So, like I said, I'm at Worlds number 4 ALL on Blue Sky and Instagram. Worldsforall.com gets you to my website, and so those are the easiest ways. And then, would you be okay if I shout out a couple of like my favorite other?
I would love that, 100%.
Folks who like things like this. If you are a fellow Latine person like we are, there's a great Discord called Roll Latine that my friend Carlos mods. It's been a beautiful space, so highly encourage folks to reach out if you're interested in an invite to that. And also on the disability and accessibility side of things, Open the Gates Gaming, incredible organization out of Virginia Tech. Highly recommend checking them out as well. Especially they have an amazing D&D accessibility tools. So those are just some of the folks I've been fortunate enough at all of these different conventions to partner with, network with, and get to know. So.
Yeah. Biggest goal, I think all of us can agree, is that so long as we can all play together, I think we'd have fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much, Heather, for joining us today. And for you watching at home, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.